A connected product does not stay secure because it shipped with zero known vulnerabilities. It stays secure because someone keeps checking, keeps deciding, and keeps fixing. The Cyber Resilience Act writes that into law. Identify the vulnerabilities in your product, address them without delay, and provide security updates. Our device already has the foundation, a bill of materials naming every package and version in the image. This episode puts that list to work. The build checks it against the public vulnerability databases, we triage what comes back, and we walk one real finding through a fix to a rebuilt, rechecked image. The artifact is VULN01, a vulnerability handling record with every decision written down. The requirement lives in Annex 1, Part 2, titled Vulnerability Handling Requirements. Point 1 we have already met. Identify and document vulnerabilities and components, including a software bill of materials. Point 2 is today's subject. In relation to the risks posed to the product, manufacturers shall address and remediate vulnerabilities without delay, including by providing security updates. And point 3 makes it continuous. Apply effective and regular tests and reviews of the security of the product. Read together, these set a working loop, not a one-time audit. You need a repeatable way to learn which known vulnerabilities affect exactly what you ship, and a demonstrated path from a finding to a fix in the field. Before running anything, it helps to know how a vulnerability check reaches its answers. It takes identity from the bill of materials, every package, its exact version, and its identifier. It takes vulnerability data from the public databases, the CVE list, and the National Vulnerability Database records built on top of it. Matching the two produces a status for every finding. Patched means the build already applies a fix. Ignored means someone recorded a justification that the issue does not affect this product. Unpatched means nobody has dealt with it yet. That last list is the actual work queue, and the middle one is only as good as the justifications behind it. A status is a claim. Triage is what turns claims into recorded decisions. Here's the setup. Our subject is the same public demonstrator as before, a minimal image for a virtual x86 device built with the Yocto project's Wrynose release. That build system ships its own vulnerability analysis, which reads the bill of materials the build already produces and checks it against two databases, the CVE List and the NVD data feeds. Both arrive as snapshots pinned by the release, dated the 7th of May, 2026. Reproducible evidence, not whatever the feed says today. Two limits belong on the record before any result appears. A scan at one database date is a snapshot. The regulation asks for a continuing process. And a clean scan would not prove the product is secure. A database can lag, and it only knows published vulnerabilities. What the scan gives us is a defensible starting point, a complete list of known findings against the exact components we ship. The analysis ships with the build system, and we enabled it with one configuration fragment. The first command shows it registered in the build's configuration. Enabling it did two things before filming. The build fetched pinned snapshots of the two vulnerability databases, which is a multi-gigabyte download, and the image gained a check task that reads its bill of materials. The second command reruns it now by forcing the image's bill of materials to be regenerated. The check depends on it, so it runs again immediately after. Nothing else needs rebuilding. Every input is cached. The check walks every package the image ships against both databases and reports what it finds. Here is the run. The run ends with the picture we need. The warnings name the packages with unpatched findings. The file attribute and access control libraries, BusyBox, the C library, the util Linux tools counted twice, once for their UUID library, and then a long wall for the kernel. 278 entries against the 6.18 series. Notice what did not happen. The build did not fail. Finding open vulnerabilities is not an error. It is the point. The check makes them visible on every single build. But a warning here is a version matching claim, not a verdict. To turn this wall into decisions, we read the machine-readable report the same task just wrote. Beside the image, the check wrote a report that records a status for every finding it considered. 2 queries tell us where we stand. The first tallies every finding in the report by its status. The second asks which packages still carry findings with the unpatched status and how many. The distinction between statuses is the whole game. Patched means the build already applies a fix. Ignored means a justification is recorded that the issue does not apply here, and unpatched means nobody has decided anything yet. Unpatched is the queue. Here are the numbers. The totals put the warning wall in proportion. The report holds 17,582 findings for this image. 16,838 are patched, fixes the build already carries. 452 are ignored, each with a recorded justification. 292 are unpatched. The second query splits that queue. 278 of them sit in the kernel, which is a stream that needs its own recurring process, and 14 sit across 6 user space packages, including 4 against BusyBox, the shell and toolbox this image actually boots with. That is a workable queue. We will not clear it on camera. We will triage it properly and walk the highest leverage finding all the way to a fix. Triage means reading a finding and making a decision someone can review later. We start where the leverage is. BusyBox provides the shell this image boots with. The first query lists its 4 unpatched findings. The second prints one of them in full. CVE 2026-38754, an out-of-bounds memory read in the Ash shell's word-splitting code, triggered through crafted input. The report scores it 7.5. Worth knowing, the published records disagree about this one. The national database calls it network reachable and high. The project's own record scores it local and medium. We will not resolve that dispute. We will record it and let the response make it moot. Here is the finding. The fields drive a concrete decision. The bug is real, and it is fixed upstream. The fix was posted to the BusyBox mailing list in June, and the CVE record itself links to it. That is what the record field at the bottom gives us. The severity dispute changes the score, not the conclusion. This image runs Ash as its init and login shell. So shell robustness is not optional, and a fix that already exists, and is only a couple of dozen lines, is cheaper to apply than to argue about. So the decision reads, backport the upstream patch now, keep the other 3 BusyBox findings open, each with an owner, and note both published scores in the record. The regulation's words are address and remediate without delay. A fix exists. So next, apply it. Here is the entire fix. A small product layer, its name is on screen, sits beside the build's other layers, and the first command shows it registered with the build, which means everything it contains travels with the product's configuration. The layer carries 2 files. An append file that attaches to the BusyBox recipe and adds exactly 1 patch to its sources. And the patch itself, the upstream fix, carried verbatim, with a header naming the CVE it addresses, the upstream submission it came from, and its author. That CVE line in the header is not a comment. The build's vulnerability accounting reads it, and that is how this finding status will change from unpatched to patched. The evidence and the fix are the same file. One ordinary rebuild picked the changeup. It ran before filming, and its log is preserved, so we read the evidence from the log. The first query shows BusyBox moving through its tasks again. Sources repatched, now including our CVE patch, the shell recompiled, the package rewritten. The second shows the end of the run. Of the 4,448 tasks in this image build, only 41 had to execute again. The build computed exactly what 1 new patch invalidated. And look at the warning line from that same rebuild. The vulnerability check reran automatically as part of the build, and BusyBox now reports 3 unpatched findings, not 4. The fix and its first verification happened in the same command. The regenerated report settles it, and we read the delta with the same queries as before. The busybox queue is down to 3, the 2 AWK findings and the second shell finding, still open and still owned. The finding we chose now reads patched, and the reason is recorded by the build itself. Fix file included, the patch we added is the evidence, and the image totals moved by exactly 1 to 291 unpatched. That is the honest shape of vulnerability handling. Not a leap to zero, a recorded verifiable step that will repeat on every build, because the check is now part of the build. Match, triage, fix, rebuild, recheck. The loop is closed. Fixing the finding in the build is not where the regulation stops. The same Part 2 list says what happens next. Point 4. Once a security update has been made available, share and publicly disclose information about the fixed vulnerability, including its impacts, its severity, and information helping users to remediate. Point 8. Ensure that available security updates are disseminated without delay, free of charge, accompanied by advisory messages with the relevant information. In other words, the patch we just walked through starts an obligation chain. The fix has to reach devices, and users have to be told. Those duties get their own episodes, secure update delivery, and coordinated disclosure. But today's record already names them as follow-ups, so nothing falls between episodes. Now we write the loop down as evidence. Vul and 01 records the scan scope and both database snapshot dates. It records the totals by status, the user space queue with an owner on every open finding, and the kernel stream as its own tracked item rather than a footnote. It records the triaged finding with both published severity scores and the decision we made. It records the fix, what was applied, where it came from upstream, and how the rebuilt image verified it. And it records the follow-ups the regulation attaches, update delivery and public disclosure, pointing at the process that owns each. Every number in this file can be rederived from the build tree by a reviewer. That is what separates evidence from a screenshot. This record proves that the process the regulation asks for actually ran. Known vulnerabilities were identified against the exact components shipped. Every finding carries a status. One finding went from discovery through triage to a fix verified in a rebuilt image, and the rest of the queue is owned rather than ignored. The record is equally clear about what it does not prove. The databases are pinned snapshots and can lag the world. The fixed finding severity is disputed between published records, and both scores stand in the file. 291 findings remain open, most of them kernel entries feeding a recurring process. And none of this is a compliance verdict. The record ends where engineering evidence ends, marked for authoritative review. We matched our component list against the public vulnerability databases with the build's own tooling, triaged the findings into recorded statuses, and walked one of them through a real fix to a rebuilt, rechecked image. That loop is what the regulation means by handling vulnerabilities, and VULN-01 is the evidence it ran. Next episode is the urgent one. From September 11, 2026, actively exploited vulnerabilities and severe incidents must be reported, with the first notification due within 24 hours. We will run the tabletop, detection, decision, who files what and when. If you ship a connected product into the EU, that date is weeks away. Subscribe so you do not meet it unprepared.